Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you all so much for joining. Let's start with our Mangalacharan prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devam Saraswatam Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Om Ajnanatirindasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manavishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swaparantikam Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutalu Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nidhinanani Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Vicharini Nirvishesha Shunnavadi Paschatya Deshadani Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindai Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadaya Krishna Krishna Bhaktāya Tadbhaktāya Namo Namaha Vakam Karoti Vācālam Pangam Langāyate Girim Yatkripahatam Ham Vande Shri Guru Trinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Ishwar. My humble obeisances to each and every one of you. Vansha Kalpatarubhascha Kripasindhu Vaivachan Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. Share my screen. So we are on the second chapter of second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And there our Srila Sukadeva Goswami has already described many ways, 2 ways rather, for attaining self-realization, liberation. On Parikshit Maharaj asking this question that what is the duty of a dying man? So he gave the path for, in the first chapter he gave for a neophyte devotee, that is the Virat Purusha. And in the second chapter we saw that he gave 2 processes, direct process and the indirect process. And what he talked about direct liberation is when somebody follows Sat Chakra Yoga. And Sat Chakra Yoga, from Mooladhara Chakra, he raises his energy to Agnya Chakra, and finally from Brahmarandra, he leaves his body. In the second indirect process, he gives that how those who are attached, there the Harna process is Paramatma, but those who are attached still having some desire, they will not directly get any kind of liberation, but they will go through various planets. And those planets we saw that they will go to Vaishnavara Loka, which is Swarga Loka, abode of Agni, and then Shishumara, and then Maharloka, and finally they go to Brahma Loka. And after Brahma Loka, again the choice is given, whether you can stay there till the life of Lord Brahma, and along with Brahma you achieve liberation, or if you want to achieve liberation before the Brahma life's end. Those who choose that their life should end or they should achieve liberation before Lord Brahma, then what happens is that they pierces the false ego. They first pierces all the levels, all the coverings of which the universe is made up of, earth, water, air, fire, ether. Finally, they pierces the mind, intelligence, and ego. And then they pierces even the Mahatattva and finally pierces Pradhan, and then they achieve liberation. What liberation? They merge into Brahma Jyoti. These two paths have already been taught by Srila Sukadev Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj. But now in continuation, let's see what he has next to say. Something very, very important. This is chapter number 2. Yeah, text 32 from where we have to start. Ete Shruti te Nripveda Gite Tvaya Priprushte cha Sanatane cha Ye Vaipura Brahmana Ahatushta Aradhito Bhagavan Vasudeva. So now he is explaining. What he is explaining? Ete Sriti, te Nripa Veda Gite. Oh, Sukadev Goswami is addressing to Parikshit Maharaj, Nripa. And he's saying, oh Nripa, oh Parikshit Maharaj, Ete Sriti, this way I have described you the processes by which one can achieve liberation. Whether one may be at the Yoga Ruda stage or one may be at the Yoga Ruksha stage. Maybe he can be attached yogi or he can be advanced yogi. And whatever I have spoken to you is according to Veda Gita. Nothing is out of my mental concoction, but it has been addressed. It is according to the version that is being described in the Vedas. Vedas sing about those processes, and thus I have explained you. Toya Abrishte. Why have I explained you? Because it was very properly been inquired by you. You asked it. About whom? About Sanatana, about the Supreme Absolute Truth, how to achieve him, because your question was that what is the process of what is the way to get out of this clutches of material existence, especially for a person who is dying. Normally, in general, but also for a dying person. So you have asked this wonderful question, Tvaya Abrishta. Tvaya refers to your majesty, or Bhava means out of respect, because after all, Parikshit Maharaj is still the king. Though he has voluntarily renounced everything and sat on the bank of river Ganga, but still he was the king. So out of respect, because he is still the king, he is addressing him as Bhavam, as Tvam, or by your majesty. So you have asked this wonderful question about the Supreme Absolute Truth, and therefore I have described to you whatever was needed and as per the Vedas. Ye vai pura brahmana ahatushta. Same question was also asked by Brahma unto Lord Brahma. Lord Krishna has Aradhito Bhagavan Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, when he was being worshipped by Brahma. He also came and he satisfied Brahma in the same thing, and he gave the same processes. So here Sukadev Goswami wants to make sure that he is not saying something onto his own. Rather, he is speaking what has been coming from Parampara and whatever the Vedas have already said. So he's saying, I'm referring to all those and gave you the answer. Somebody can read the translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Your Majesty Maharaj Parishit, note that all that I have described in reply to your proper inquiry is just according to the version of the Vedas, and it is the eternal truth. This was described personally by Lord Krishna and to Brahma, with whom the Lord was satisfied upon being properly worshipped. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. So he was Tushta Aradhita Bhagavan Vasudeva. So Bhagavan Vasudeva was very much satisfied when he was being worshipped by Brahma, and Lord himself came and satisfied, gave all these answers unto Lord Brahma. So what were the two parts? The two parts that were described by Srila Sukadev Goswami was direct liberation, attaining the Paramatma, and the gradual liberation attained by a Virat Roop meditator, where he goes to different planets, finally pierces all the coverings of universes and gets liberation. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, the two different ways of reaching the spiritual sky and thereby getting emancipation, free from all the material bondage, namely either the direct process of reaching the kingdom of God or the actual process through the other higher planets of the universe, are set forth exactly according to the version of the Vedas. Those who are free from all material desires, which are diseases of the heart, are able to conquer death and enter into the kingdom of God through the Archi planets. These Vedic versions corroborate the versions of Srimad Bhagavatam, and the latter is further confirmed by Srila Sukadeva Goswami, who affirms that the truth was personally being disclosed by Lord Shri Krishna Vasudev to Brahma, the first authority in the Vedas. So he's saying that whatever I'm speaking is evam parampara praptam, that these were uttered by Lord Shri Krishna to Brahma, then Brahma to Narada, then Narada to Vyasadeva, Vyasadeva to Sukadeva Goswami, and so on. So there is no difference between the versions of the authorities. Why? Because everything was, there was no different versions. Why? Because everybody was authoritative in speaking. The truth is eternal. Yes, one may have some opinion, but no new opinion can come about the truth. Why? Because the truth is eternal. That is the way of knowing the knowledge that is contained in the Vedas. It is not something understood by one's erudite scholarship or by some fashionable interpretations of mundane scholars. No, everything is been authorized. There is nothing to be added and nothing to be subtracted, because truth is the truth. That's why when Prabhupada gave his commentary on Bhagavad Gita, he named it as it is. Because he's saying that I'm going to present the truth. Nothing will be added, nothing will be subtracted. And one has to accept, after all, some authority. One may accept some modern scientists also as the authorities, but their truth changes. Even the science changes. But the truth that is coming from our acharyas, from parampara, from Shabda Brahman, that is the truth, which the common man should follow, because it is coming from the authority. The Vedic knowledge is also received in that way. The common man cannot argue about what is beyond the sky or beyond the universe. He must accept the versions of the Vedas, and as they are understood by the authorized disciplic succession. In the Bhagavad Gita, also the same process of understanding the Gita is stated in the 4th chapter, Evam Parampara Praptam. If one does not follow the authoritative version of the Acharyas, he will vainly search about the truth mentioned in the Vedas. And Vedas have all those things, and he will be caught up in the flowery language of the Vedas. So therefore, the best thing is about Shabda Praman. When we hear from a bona fide authority about the Supreme Absolute Truth. To know about the Supreme Absolute Truth, to join some academic university or college will not help, because he is spiritual. And anything that we enroll ourselves in this world is material. Through material, we cannot know the spiritual. To know spiritual, we have to seek a spiritual guide, a spiritual mentor, and that spiritual mentor will reveal that knowledge to us. Because after all, this knowledge is a spiritual knowledge. It has to be revealed. We cannot gain it by joining some universities. After describing this, now our Sukadeva Goswami has described everything. So from here onwards, after describing the path of Ashtanga Yoga, which was actually the preferred path by some of the sages who were present there in that assembly. And that was the reason why Sukadeva Goswami touched upon that path. There were many Ashtanga yogis who were present in that assembly. That's why Sukadeva Goswami, he talked about this path. But now Sukadeva Goswami will give his own opinion, and his opinion will be the path of Bhakti. He'll be telling that now I want to give my own opinion about the path of attaining the ultimate perfection, which is an answer to Parikshit Maharaj's questions about the duty of the dying man. So he says that now I want to give my own personal opinion. Up till now, I have been talking about different paths, and those were the preferred path because the sages of such paths, those who follow such paths, were present in that assembly. But now I want to address my own opinion. And in this regard, what Srila Sukdev Goswami says, Nahi atonya shiva pantha vishata samrata viha vasudeva bhagavati bhakti yogo yato bhavet. So see now Sukdev Goswami, somebody would be asking like why Sukdev Goswami spent the entire chapter in describing which was not needed. But of course it was needed. There are many people of such paths who will be approaching Srimad Bhagavatam. So they should get some eagerness, some interest. But ultimately, dharma projita khaitavatra paramo nirmatsaranam satam. Our Srimad Bhagavatam will reject all the different paths and will establish bhakti as the supreme. So those who even belonging to those paths, when they achieve, when they reach, when they approach Srimad Bhagavatam, they will also get the essence of everything, and that is Bhakti Yoga. So here Sukdev Goswami is saying, Nahi atonyata Shiva pantha. There is no other auspicious path. Shiva means auspicious. Anya, beyond this, there is no other path. What is that path? And for what it is needed? Vishata samrata iha, just to get out from this cycle, from this samsara, for those who are simply wandering in this 14 planetary system. The best way to get out of this, to achieve liberation, there is no path other than this path, which I'm going to mention to you, O Parikshit Maharaj. This is the best. Nobody can defeat this path. What is that path? Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yogo Yato Bhavet. One who performs Bhakti Yoga. Unto whom? Unto Bhagavan Vasudeva, Krishna. One who performs Bhakti Yoga, the process of Bhakti Yoga unto Lord Vasudeva, well, that is the best path. Nobody can defeat this path. This is the best auspicious path. No other path can be auspicious. No other path can be direct. No other path can be simple and sublime. Only this process of Bhakti Yoga unto Lord Vasudeva is the most wonderful, auspicious path by which you can get out from this wandering in 14 planetary system. Means you can achieve liberation. Because that path is what path? That path is the path of prema. Srila Jiva Goswami and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, that path is the path of prema. One gets prema after enrolling oneself on this path of Bhakti Yoga. Somebody can read the translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji. For those who are wandering in the material universe, there is no more auspicious means of deliverance than what is aimed at in the direct devotional service of Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Madam. So, devotional service unto Lord Shri Krishna is the direct and the most auspicious path. Prabhupada writes in the purport, it gives a little, very wonderful purport, and we can quickly test each other, our Bhakti Shastri, what we have done. As will be clarified in the next verse, devotional service or direct Bhakti Yoga is the only absolute and the auspicious means of deliverance from the grip of material existence. There are many indirect methods for deliverance from clutches of material existence, but none of them as easy and auspicious as Bhakti Yoga. And Prabhupada compares Bhakti Yoga as when you have to go to the top of building, take an elevator. Just have to press the button, go onto the elevator, and you are on the top of the building. But that's not the only way we can reach to the building. We can use escalators, we can use staircase. Yes, there are many ways to go on top of the building. But the best is, easiest is taking elevators. So this is Bhakti Yoga. There are no trips and falls. So when we take this process of Bhakti Yoga, it's a direct process and it is very easy and it is auspicious. The means of jnana and yoga are all aligned disciplines. They are not independent in delivering a performance. Such activities may help one to the stage of Bhakti Yoga after many, many years. In Bhagavad Gita 12.5, it is said that those who are attached to the impersonal feature of the Absolute, they are liable to get many troubles in the pursuit of their desired goals. What is this verse? Anybody remembers? 12.5.
क्लेशोऽधिकतरस्तेषाम् अव्यक्तासक्तचेतसाम् अव्यक्ता हि गति दुःखम् देहवद्भिर्वाप्यसे.
Devabhi, thank you, Tulsi Gopinathji. Deha vibhiravapyate. Those who are being embodied, those dehi, when it comes under deha, they get embodied. So when they want liberation, he says, but if their minds is too much attached to the impersonal feature, then their progress is very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. Why? Because it's so difficult process. It's a cumbersome process. The process of merging into that impersonal feature of that supreme advancement is very, very troublesome. And then when they realize the importance of Vasudev realization, all in many, many words, Bahunam Janmane Anta. As far as yoga system is concerned, it is said in Bhagavad Gita 6.47. What is that verse? The most celebrated verse. Somebody knows? 6.47. That amongst, it's the last verse of the chapter, amongst the mystic who pursue the absolute truth and one who is engaged in the service is the greatest of all.
Yoginam api sarve sambhadyate nantara taddavan bhajate mams ime yukta tamamata.
Yoginam api sarvesham madhyate nantara. Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita, he gives this Ashtanga Yoga, Dhyana Yoga process. But then he says of all the yogis, the best is the Bhakti Yoga. One who engaged in the service is the greatest of all. And of course, the last instruction that Krishna describes in Bhagavad Gita 18.62. Sarvdharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraj. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishami manashuchaha. Leaving aside all the engagements of different processes of self-realization and liberation from material bondage. So as already explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, either direct Bhakti Yoga or the means by which ultimate culminate in Bhakti Yoga without any change of fruitive activity constitute the highest form of religion. So Vasudeva Bhakti, Bhakti Yoga Projita, Janati Asu Vairagyam Jnanam Cha Tad Ahitukam. Immediately, Asu, very quickly one gets Vairagya and Jnana because one is doing what? The devotional service unto Lord Vasudeva. Otherwise, if simply we are doing any other process, it is Shama Eva Hi Kevalam. It is simply waste of the time for the perform. Srila Sridhar Swami and other acharyas like Srila Jiva Goswami also agree that Bhakti Yoga is not only easy, simple, natural and free from trouble, but it is only source of happiness for the human being. Because when we perform Bhakti Yoga, what we do is, it is susukham kartum avvayam. It is very, very simple, very, very easy, and it is very pleasing. It gives a lot of happiness. Yes, Praladananda Prabhu, you want to add something?
Mata. There is very similar slok spoken by Brahmaji in 10th canto, 10:14. He says, Sreya smrutim bhakti udasyate vibho, kleshyanti keval bodh labde. Those who are doing this impersonal meditation, they just get the bodh. Then he says, Tesam asu klesal ev sisyate, nadya dyatha stul tusavti ghatam. Those who are just, trying to get grains out of those skins of the grains like that. So that one is similar to this 10.14.4.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. And even in Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna says, Ananyas chetata satatam yomam smarati nityasa. Those who remember me, nityasa, constantly, every day. Tasyam sulabha partha. Nitya-yukta sayogina. Then this process, I am very much easily attainable to that person. Why? Because this process is sulabha. It is very, very sublime, simple, and easy process. And it is the best of all the yogas. Thank you. Thank you for adding. See, when we read such purports, that reminds us so many verses, and it really trains our mind. It churns our mind to remember, and how Prabhupada is also quoting from these different verses. That helps us remember these verses. Yes, Krishna has spoken there also. Krishna spoke there also. Brahma has spoken there also. So this way we are reminded of many verses, and this way we can train ourselves. Yes, Tulsi Gopi Mataji.
Mataji, Nishtha would like to read the next verse. That's why she.
Sure, definitely. So in continuation now, our Sukhdev Goswami, he will be giving this process, and he is saying that this path is actually also performed, means the verdict of Brahma is also there. And then he says, Bhagavan Brahma Katsena Trit Anviksha Manishaya Yad Adhyavasat Kutosto Ratir Atmam Yato Bhaved. So he's saying now even Brahma has come to this conclusion that this process, this path of Bhakti Yoga is the highest. And how Brahma? Because Brahma, he has studied the Vedas very, very thoroughly. Tri Aniviksha Manishaya, like a sage, like a muni, Brahma has studied the Vedas and churned out the essence of the Vedas. And 3 times he has studied. Just like a scholar, when he has to come out with the essence, he has to study the purports or the scriptures again and again. When they study, then the essence comes out. Like Bhagavad Gita also. It's not that 1 time, 2 times we study and we get the sense. The more we read, the more newer and newer realization comes. This is 3 aniviksha, very, very examined scrutinizingly. Who has done? Brahma has done, like a sage. Tad adhyavastutostho, and there he developed the essence that with the concentration of mind and with the attraction to the Supreme, one can achieve this liberation and one can achieve self-realization. So even Brahma has given his verdict that Bhakti Yoga is the supreme. Yes, read it, Beta.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Translation by Jai Shri Prabhupada. The great personality, Brahma, with great attention and concentration of the mind, studied the Vedas 3 times. After scrutinizingly examining them, he ascertained that attraction for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is the highest perfection of religion. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you. So even Brahma has studied the Vedas 3 times and very scrutinizingly examined them. And he finally gave the conclusion that Bhakti Yoga unto Lord Vasudev is the highest. Srila Sukadeva Goswami is referring to the highest Vedic authority, Lord Brahma, who is the qualitative incarnation of Godhead. The Vedas were taught to Brahmaji in the beginning of the material creation. Although Brahmaji was to hear this Vedic instructions directly from the personality of Godhead, in order to satisfy the inquisitiveness of all the prospective students of the Vedas, Brahmaji himself, like a muni, like a scholar, he studied the Vedas 3 times, as generally done by all the scholars. He studied with great attention, concentration on the purpose of the Vedas, and after scrutinizingly examining the whole process, he ascertained that becoming a pure, unalloyed devotee of the Supreme Lord, Shri Krishna, is the topmost perfection of all religious principles. Okay? And this is the last instruction of the Bhagavad Gita also. The Vedic conclusion is thus accepted by all acharyas, and those who are against the conclusions are only Vedavadaratas, as explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Yes, those who study the Vedas themselves, they caught up in the flowery language of the Vedas, and those who studied under parampara, they get the real essence. When our acharyas have done all this hard work, what we have to do we just have to follow. Mahajena, Yena, Gata Sopanta. You just have to follow the path that they have laid down, because they themselves have walked on that path. They know that where the trips and falls are. So they have themselves cleared everything for us. And now what we have to do is just follow the process, follow the path without taking any detour, with the full conviction that our acharyas have walked on this path. So definitely this path is the best of all. And therefore we should walk. Like Prahladananda Prabhu always gives this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, that with my eyes closed, I can run on this path, right? Why? Because this path has already traversed by my superiors, by my acharyas. So without any doubt, without any assumption, I can just run on this path with my eyes blindfolded. Text 35. Bhagavan sarvabhuteshu lakshita swatmana hari drishyar buddhyadibir drishta lakshaner anukampahi. Somebody can read translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji. The personality of Godhead Lord Shri Krishna is in every living being, alone with the individual soul. And this fact is perceived and hypothesized in our acts of seeing and taking help from the intelligence.
Thank you, Sunil. So the best is to understand that how the Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated as Paramatma in the heart of living entity. How one can perceive this? By taking the help of one's intelligence. Drishtir buddhi adibhir drishtam. It's only through buddhi that whatever is to be seen, one is granted that intelligence, and then one is able to be the real seer. To be the real seer, to see that everybody is actually part of the Supreme Lord, part and parcel. Namai Vamsha Jiva Loka, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. And how we get this buddhi, how we get this intelligence. Krishna says, Tesham Satatam Yuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam. Those who worship me with Priti, Tadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. I will give him that intelligence. Ye namam upayantite, by which one can come to me. So he will give us the right intelligence by which we will understand that every jiva is actually supported or is always accompanied by the presence of Paramatma. So every body is actually the temple of the Lord, because my Supreme Lord is situated in their heart as Super Soul, as Paramatma. Prabhupada gives a very long purport, and Prabhupada says the general argument of the common man is that Lord is not visible to the eyes, so he does not exist. And if it does not exist, then how can one surrender unto that transcendental loving service? But to that common man, here is a practical suggestion by Srila Sukadeva Goswami that how we can perceive the presence of Lord. Actually, the Lord is not perceivable by our materialized senses. It's not. But when one is convinced of the presence of the Lord by practical service attitude, then there is a revelation of Lord's mercy. And such a pure devotee of the Lord can perceive the Lord's presence always and everywhere. A very simple example. We all have worshipped Archa Vigraha. Those who are second initiated, those who have got this chance to worship the Supreme Lord in the deity form, especially in the temple, and even at home, because it's just a matter of establishing one's relationship. So actually, if with materialized we see is what? It's just a stone, it's just a marble or a piece of metal, right? But then what happens when we start serving? When we start serving, we develop that relationship. And when we develop that relationship, then what happens? When we are convinced that, no, this is not just material. My Supreme Lord, my Krishna, my Srimati Radharani, my Paramatma is there in that Vigraha also, then that Vigraha starts reciprocating. Yes, the vigorous starts reciprocating because it's just the matter of establishing our relationship. I'll not go into a great story, but in Bhaktamal, there it comes a very beautiful story that how there were two girls and they saw one Brahmana holding a Shaligram Shila, and he was a sage and he came to one of the Grahastha in their neighbors. And he daily used to worship Shaligram Shilas. And these two girls were so much attracted and they requested that, oh, we want this Shila. Please give to us. And he said, well, how can I give my Shaligram, my Krishna to these two girls? They are small little girls. How can I give them? But finally, one day, the girls were so adamant, and this sage has to agree to what these girls said. So what he did, he said, okay, tomorrow when I go to the river to take my bath, after that I'll come and I'll give you my Shaligram Shilas. So he went and he took bath and he took two black stones. And he came with those black stones and he says, here are your two Shaligram Shilas and you can take it. So the girls were very happy. It has been explained that the whole life, those two girls, they worshipped that stone that was given by a sage. It was mere a stone, but they worshipped, they used to decorate, they used to offer flowers, chandan, every day to those stones. And the Supreme Lord appeared from those. And even the sage was bewildered. When sage came to know after many years, even he was bewildered. So point is, like in Hindi, we say, Jano to patthar, nahi to Bhagavan. So that's the point. That yes, to our material eyes, it looks like it's a stone. But the more we serve, the more the Lord reciprocate. Why? Because the Lord is present there. It's just how we perceive. If somebody perceives, no, he's mere a stone, the Lord would reciprocate accordingly. But if someone perceives, no, he's my Supreme Lord, then the Lord will perceive in that manner. The presence of Paramatma in everyone's company is not very difficult to realize. The procedure is as follows. One can perceive one's self-identification and feel positively that he exists. He may not feel it abruptly, but by using a little intelligence, he can feel that he is not the body. He can feel that the hand, the leg, the head, the hair, and the limbs are all his bodily parts and parcels. But as such, the hand, the leg, the head, etc., cannot be identified with the self. Therefore, just by using intelligence, he can distinguish the separate his self from other things as he sees. So with little intelligence, what happens? The living entity comes to this conclusion that every body is actually accompanied by the presence of Paramatma. So Prabhupada gives that how our senses of perception and action, which is to say we have 5 perceptive senses, that is hearing, touch, sight, taste, and smell. And accordingly, we have 5 senses, hands, legs, speech, evacuation organs, and reproductive organs. And then we have 3 subtle senses, mind, intelligence, and ego. They are all supplied by the various arrangements of gross or subtle forms of natural energy. And it is equally evident from our objects of perception, they are nothing but the products of inexhaustible permutation and combinations of the forms that the natural, taken by the natural energy, the material energy. But the spiritual quality of the seer is manifest in our dissatisfaction with the limited state of material conditioned existence. Those who are not spiritually inclined, they will be attracted to all these senses and the sense objects. But those who are really the spiritual seeker, they will understand that, no, after all, everything is material, and they will not come to the level of neti, but they will try to use everything in the service of the Supreme God. So this Prabhupada explains. You can skip all this. You can read it as the part of your homework. And then Prabhupada, as point of our investigation, we may consider the following question. On the one hand, we realize that all our perceptions and activities are conditioned by the arrangements. But yes, I am perceiving, I am doing. What is this? This is illusion. Therefore, we may say that our material senses of perception and action are moving because we are identifying the self with this material body. and that the superior principle of super self is guiding and supplying us according to our desire. What is the function of the super soul? Anumanta and Upadrishta. He will give the Anumati, whatever you want, you can do. And he will be just the superseer. He will just observe what we are doing. And then the conditioned living entity under this ahankara vimudatma karta hamiti manyate will come to this conclusion that actually I am the karta. But is he the karta? No. He has simply desired. Material nature is facilitating, and by giving the body and the senses, and the Supreme Lord is sanctioning. So how one comes to this intelligence? When one is given the right buddhi, the right intelligence by the Supreme Lord, then one sees actually what is to be seen. Otherwise, simply wasting one's time. As far as the common sense is concerned, we have come to this conclusion that there are three identities. We know this: Prakriti, Jiva, and Paramatma. All three are doers, not just one. Now, if we go to Bhagavad Gita, we can further understand these three identities, that is matter, nature, individual spirit, Jivatma, and the super soul. They all are dependent on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The super self is what? The super soul is just the partial representation. Bhagavad Gita affirms that the Supreme Personality of Godhead dominates all over the material world by his partial representation only. God is great. He cannot be simply an order supplier of the individual cells. Therefore, super soul cannot be a full representation of the Supreme Self of Paramatma. And then Prabhupada says, just like on the same body, the two birds is sitting, like a bird sitting with another bird. One bird is busy eating, enjoying the fruits of the tree. Another bird is simply watching and witnessing. So how we come to this conclusion that he is my Supreme Lord? When the Supreme Lord himself reveals to us, he will give us the proper buddhi, provided we engage in his service, bhajatam priti purvakam, with priti. Okay, so this is how we can perceive the Lord and the jivas. So then our Sukadev Goswami establishes that yes, you have to come to this understanding that every body is actually a walking temple because Paramatma is situated. But how will you come to that understanding? When we perform bhajata priti purvakam, when we perform some bhajan with love unto that Supreme Lord. So therefore, sadhana bhakti is the most auspicious path, and one should practice this path. And he concludes this in the second last verse. Tasmat, he starts with Tasmat. Therefore, after describing all this, what all this? He said that I have described you all the direct and indirect processes. I have given you the most auspicious path. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Yato Bhavet. I have given you the most auspicious and sublime and easy path. And this path has also been established by the verdict of Brahma. Even Brahma studied the Vedas, churned the Vedas, studied it 3 times scrutinizingly, and finally came to this conclusion that Bhakti Yoga is the best. And then Sukadev Goswami says that therefore, Tasmat Sarvatmana Rajan, Harir Sarvatra Sarvada, Shrottavya Kirtitavyascha, Smartavyo Bhagavan. When you come to this conclusion that sadhana bhakti is the best, then what you have to do in that sadhana bhakti? Therefore, Sarvatmana Rajan, oh King, we have to understand that that Supreme Lord is Hari. He is the Hari and Sarvatra Sarvada, and he is present everywhere. He is all pervading. Therefore, to what we have to do? Shrotavya, we have to hear from him. Kirtitavya, we have to glorify him. And Smartavya, and we have to remember him. Bhagavan Virna. By all the human beings, we have to hear about him, glorify him, and always remember him. I think so. This is a memorizing verse. So maybe 2 devotees can recite. Tasmat sarvatmana rajan hari sarvatra sarvada shrotavya kirtitavyascha Smartavyo Bhagavan Rinam. Yes, Vrinda Vaishnavi Mataji.
Tasmat Sarvatmana Rajan Hari Sarvatra Sarvada Shrotvya Kirtitavyascha Smartavyo Bhagavan Rinam.
Excellent, very nice. Yes, Saudamini Mataji.
तस्मात् सर्वात्मना राजन् हरिः सर्वत्र सर्वदा श्रोतव्य कीर्तितव्यश्च स्मर्तव्यो भगवान् ऋणाम्. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Somebody can read the translation.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, I can read.
Yes.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Translation Jai Srila Prabhupada. O King, it is therefore essential that every human being hear about, glorify, and remember the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, always and everywhere.
Thank you, everyone. So Srila Sukadeva Goswami, he begins this verse from the word tasmat. Therefore, I have concluded that one should progress by accepting this path of sadhana bhakti, which is the most easy and sublime. Why therefore? Because in the previous word, he has already explained that there is no auspicious path of salvation other than this process, sublime process of bhakti yoga. The bhakti yoga is practiced by the devotees in different methods like hearing, chanting, remembering, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, all the 9 limbs, worshipping, praying, rendering service to him, and becoming friendly and offering everything one may possess. So what are these? That is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Sakhyam, and Dasyam, Sakhyam, and Atmanivedanam. All the 9 methods are bona fide methods. This is important. All 9 methods are bona fide methods. And either all of them, some of them, or even one of them can bring the desired results for the sincere devotee. So either we can practice all of them, like Srila Amrish Maharaj. He practiced all the 9 processes. Or if somebody performs some of them, few of them. Or if somebody performs even one of them, like our Parikshit Maharaj, he just performed Shravanam. Our Srila Sukadeva Goswami, he just performed Kirtanam. So even if we can perform, even if one of them, even that will give the desired result for the sincere devotee. But out of all the 9 methods, all are important, but the first one, namely hearing, is the most important function in the process of bhakti. The more we hear, the more we will be enlightened, the more we will get the right knowledge. Without hearing sufficiently and properly, Krishna, sorry. Without hearing sufficiently and properly, no one can make progress by any of the methods of practice. It starts with Shravanam. For one hearing only, all the Vedic literatures are there, compiled by the authorized persons like Vyasadeva, who is powerful incarnation of Godhead. And since it has been ascertained that the Lord is the super soul of everything, he should therefore be heard, glorified everywhere and always. Shrotavya, Kirtitavya, Smartavya, always Bhagavan. This is the special duty of the human being. Remember the 2 questions? What is the duty of a person in general and a person who is a dying man? And in general also, everybody is a dying man because we don't know when the death comes. So what is the duty? This is the duty. What is the duty? This is the duty. Shrotavya, Kirtitavya, Smartavya, Bhagavan. This is the duty of a human being, to always remember whom Hari, always sing about him, always hear about him, always remember him. The more we hear, the more we will be enthusiastic to glorify, and the more we will be able to remember. Because how the remembrance come? When our subconscious mind is filled with the thoughts of that particular person. A lover and beloved, when the beloved, she wants to meet the lover, she all in the back of the mind, she's always thinking about her lover. How can I meet him? How can I spend time with him? Even though she is at home, even though she is at if she's studying some university or college, but still the whole time she'll be remembering about her boyfriend or her lover. But I'm giving such a mundane example, which is full of lust. I'm not saying that this is the best, but the point is that how it always takes your mind, because your subconscious mind is filled with the thoughts of that person. Now replace that person with Krishna. Then what happens? Then everything will be so nice, so blissful. Then every time when our subconscious mind is filled with Krishna, then all we'll do is we'll hear about Krishna. We'll be enthusiastic about telling others about Krishna. And then we will always remember Krishna. So it's just a matter with what we fill our subconscious mind. If we fill it with the thoughts of all the material things, some sense enjoyments, or we will be thinking about opposite sex, or we think about Krishna. It's all up to us. But the duty of a person is actually to fill your subconscious mind with Krishna and Shrutavya Kirtitavya Smartavya Bhagavan. That is the special duty of the human being. When the human being gives up the process of hearing about the Supreme Lord, he becomes victim to hearing rubbish transmitted by man-made machines. Here Prabhupada is referring to radios and TVs. So unnecessary, we will be attracted to this. Machinery itself is not bad. Prabhupada is not saying that radio and TV is bad. But what is bad when it is not bad, because through these machines also we can take advantage about hearing the Lord. But because when this machine is used for some ulterior purpose, it's creating rapid degradation in the standard of human civilization. Television itself is not bad. All these apps are not bad. How we use them will determine that what is good and what is bad. If we are using itself, this gadget, this phone is not bad. It's going to help us. We can download so many books. Prabhupada books are there. Veda base is there. We get to hear so many lectures, so many books we can study. But if we simply use this for our sense gratification, watching all those mundane videos, then this machinery is bad. Then this machinery, we are not using it properly. So what is bad is our usage is bad. Machine itself is not bad. We cannot blame phone. Yes, phone is the latest asura, is a demon, especially in our bhakti. But still we cannot blame phone. What we can blame is our tendency to get attracted to that machinery, and that too just for our sense gratification. If we are using it, then that tendency is bad. Machinery is not bad, because through machine one can take advantage about the Lord. But because the machinery used for ulterior purpose, it is creating rapid degradation. So it is said that it is incumbent about the human beings to hear about the scriptures of Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Living beings other than the human beings have no ability to hear such Vedic literatures. So we have got this human form of life. So let's use it, because this is the rarest. And even after coming to this human form of life, getting the association of devotees is the rarest of the rarest. And how blessed we are, how fortunate we are. And even after coming on this platform, if we simply waste our time, then whom to be blamed? Ourselves to be blamed. All the great acharyas like Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Saraswati Thakur, so on, have extensively glorified the Lord. by chanting always and in every place, because the Lord is self-pervading. It is essential to glorify him always and everywhere. And this is what is Sanatan Dharma or Bhagavad Dharma. Bhagavad Dharma means pertaining to Bhagavan. Sanatan Dharma is which is eternal. That is our eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord. The Lord is the master of all time and all space, and therefore Lord's holy name must be heard, glorified, and remembered. That will bring about the desired peace and prosperity so eagerly awaiting by the people of the world. They want peace, they want prosperity, but they don't want to glorify the Lord. How we can achieve that? No, it's not possible. Only and only process is when we hear about the Lord, we glorify the Lord, and always remember him at every time and every aspect of our life. So, after describing this, then Srila Sukadeva Goswami says that there are two benefits of sadhana bhakti. Because when we do this sadhana bhakti and we practice this sadhana bhakti, then the two benefits comes out of it. पिबन्ति ये भागवत आत्मनः सतां कथामृतं श्रवणपुतेषु संभ्रतां पुनन्ति ते विषया विदूषितातां व्रजन्ति तच्चरणा सरोरुहान्तिकम्. So beautiful. This is also very beautiful, but I don't know this verse is a memorizing verse or not. Therefore, Sukadeva Goswami says, Pibanti, those who drink. Yes, we have to drink. What? Bhagavata Atmanaha, which is very, very most dear, this Bhagavan, this Katha of Bhagavan, Kathamritam, the nectar Katha of Bhagavan. It is very, very dear to the devotees. So therefore we should drink. Should we drink from our mouth? No. Shravana Puteshu. We have to drink through our ears. The ear holes, Puteshu means the potholes or the ear holes. We have to completely fill those ear holes with the drink, with the Kathamrita, the nectar drink of Lord Hari. So that if our ears are filled with just Krishna Katha, then there will be no space for any other Katha to enter. See, some Katha will enter, whether it's Gramya Katha or Krishna Katha. It's up to us whom we are lending our ears. If we are lending our ears to some materialistic people, then they will fill our ear holes with all the Gramya Katha. Iski burai, uski burai, criticizing one person or another person. Our ears will be filled with all that. And when our ears will be filled, all these thoughts, where it will go to our subconscious mind. Then if we keep thinking about negative about others, criticizing others, then do you think we'll ever get peace and prosperity in our life? No. But if we fill our ears with only Krishna Katha, we associate with the devotees, those devotees who are always glorifying the Supreme Lord. And if we fill our ear holes with that Katha, with the Amrit of that Katha, with the nectar of that Katha, then naturally our subconscious mind will also be filled with Krishna Katha. And then what will happen? The outcome will be that we will always be established in Krishna consciousness. Then he gives two results. When Sukadeva Goswami himself says, Punati te vishaya vidushita. We will be purifying, Punanti, we will be purifying ourselves with all the polluted aim of life, of material enjoyment. We will purify ourselves by hearing Krishna Katha, by Katha Amritam. That is the first result of sadhana bhakti, that we will be purified. The next what? Vrajanti tacharana saroruhantikam. Then we will go back to the Supreme Lord. That's the second result, that we go back to the Supreme Lord and will always be associated onto the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, whose charana, whose feet are saroruhantikam. They are like lotus. Somebody can read the translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I can read. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Those who drink through oral reception, fully filled with the nectarian message of Lord Krishna, the beloved of the devotees, purify the polluted aim of life known as material enjoyment, and thus go back to Godhead, to the lotus feet of Him, the personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Jai. Thank you, Madhuri. Prabhupada writes, again, he gives a long purport. The sufferings of the human society are due to a polluted aim of life. Our aim, our goal is polluted. Our aim is not to get Krishna prem. Our aim is not to achieve liberation from this matter, from the samsara chakra. Our aim is not to get out of this cycle, but our aim is to lord over. We want to become our own Ishwaras. So when we want to lord over the material resources, that is the main suffering of this human society. Because they want to lord over, they want to become controllers, they want to become proprietors. The more human society engages in such exploitation for sense gratification, the more they will be entrapped by the illusory material energy of the Lord. We think that we can lord it over this material nature, but can we? No, because she is not ordinary. It looks like that she presents herself like this, that it looks like that, yes, we can exploit Mother Nature. But actually not. She's Devi. Devi Aisha Godamai. Mama Maya. Krishna says she's my Maya. If anything belongs to Krishna, can we ever lord it over? No. But we think that we can lord it over. And that is the distress of the world. And that's why everything, thus the distress of the world will be intensified instead of diminution. The human society of life are fully supplied by the Lord in the shape of grains, milk, fruits, jewels, cotton, water, everything. Sufficient quantity to feed the care of the human race on every planet within the universe. Yes, Krishna takes care of everything. Which animal requires how much tons of food? Krishna provides. Krishna takes care. The supply source is complete, but only a little energy of the human being is required to get his necessities into the proper channel. So the supply source is complete, but our greed is so high, and with that we make the supply also incomplete. Otherwise, from Krishna's side, the supply source is complete, but our greed is not. Need, Krishna is ready to fulfill, but wants, Krishna doesn't guarantee. And what we are doing is we are increasing our wants, day by day increasing our wants. There is no need of machines and tools or huge steel plants for artificially creating some comforts of life. Life is never made comfortable by artificial needs, but by plain living and high thinking. The highest perfectional thinking of the human society, as suggested by Srila Sukadeva Goswami, is for the men in this age of Kali, when they have lost the perfect vision of life, then Srimad Bhagavatam comes as the torchlight. Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhupada also commented on Kathamrita mentioned in this verse and indicated that the real Kathamrita is to hear the nectarian message of the Supreme Lord, that is which is indicated in Srimad Bhagavatam. By sufficient hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam, which we are daily doing it, the polluted aim of life, means especially lording it over material nature, will subside. And the people in general parts of the world will be able to lead a peaceful life, the life full of knowledge and bliss. For a pure devotee of the Lord, any topics in relation with his name, fame, quality, entourage, they are all pleasing. And because such topics have been approved by the great devotees like Narada, Hanuman, Nand Maharaj, what are they doing? They're simply glorifying. Certainly such messages are transcendental and they are pleasing to heart and soul. And by the constant hearing of the messages, one is assured by Srila Sukadeva Goswami that he will reach the personality of Godhead. He is assuring and render him transcendental loving service in the spiritual planet in the name Golok Vrindavan, which resembles like a huge lotus flower. So we should not think that when such messages are there in the scriptures, we take it either exaggeration or we take it as a lofty goal where we cannot reach. But that's not true. When our acharyas, they assure us for something, we should understand that they have walked on this path, they have achieved something highest, and therefore they want to share with us. So we should, without any assumption, without any doubt, just accept what we hear. But provided that acharya has to be a bona fide acharya. Thus, so now he is, Sukadeva Goswami himself is saying that we will reach the personality of Godhead, and then we will render him transcendental loving service in the spiritual planet in Golok Vrindavan. Just by reading such statements, it gives so much of assurance in our life. Imagine if we really come to that stage, the whole life will be changed. He is himself saying, Punanti te vishaya vidushita. Vrajanti tacharana sarorihanti. That we will be situated in that charana, the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. Thus, by the process of Bhakti Yoga, directly accepted as suggested in this verse, by sufficient hearing of the transcendental message of the Lord, the material contamination is directly eliminated. And without once attempting to contemplate on the impersonal Virat conception of India, all the material contamination will go. Because who is contemplating on Virat? One who is attached yogi, attached to bodily conception of life. So all these things, all these material conceptions and contamination will go away if we accept this process of Bhakti Yoga. And by practicing Bhakti Yoga, if the performer is not purified from the material contamination, then he must be a pseudo devotee. So even after coming in contact of Bhakti Yoga, if we think that there is no significant amount of purification had happened, then it's the time to introspect ourselves. Are we really practicing the way our acharyas want us to do, or we have deviated from the path? For such an impostor, there is no remedy of being freed from the material entanglement. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purpose of the second canto, second chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Lord in the Heart. So we will stop here. I know we have few minutes left. Either we can utilize it in some question and answer, some doubts, some corrections, some realizations you want to share, or we can just simply stop and we'll continue on next Tuesday or next Thursday from chapter number 3. Okay. Yes, Tulsi Gopi Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. At the beginning of this chapter, it was mentioned that our Brahmaji meditated on the Virat Roop and then he got whatever knowledge and then he created this universe. So does it mean he was a Kanishta or something?
No, it's not that we have to think, yes, because question was asked by Parikshit Maharaj when Sukadeva Goswami was telling about Virat Purusha, that those who meditate on Virat Purusha. So Sukadeva Goswami asked this question that, Parikshit Maharaj asked this question that, is there someone who has achieved success by meditating on Virat Purusha? And then Srila Sukadeva Goswami gives the example of Brahma. Yes, Brahma recreated the universe by meditating on Virat Purusha. Because when Brahma he found himself on that lotus flower, he didn't know what to do. He has no arrangements. He has no acharyas to whom he can talk to, or he has practically no one. He was all by himself. And he then heard the word tapa and he started meditating, right? So, yes, he was meditating on Virat Purusha, but that doesn't mean that he is a neophyte. He needs to, because now he has to carry out that secondary process of creation, Visarga. He got all the blueprints, he got all the ingredients, but now he has to carry out. And to carry out, he need to meditate on that Virat Purusha because he has to take care of the material universe. But later when Brahmaji got this opportunity to hear the Vedas, Then now it is being described by Sukadeva Goswami that he himself churned the Vedas. He studied 3 times and finally came out with this conclusive truth that Bhakti Yoga is the highest of all. So we should not think that Brahma was being a neophyte person or he is some impersonalist and that therefore he meditated on Virat Purusha. No, but just to carry out the process of universe, he was meditating on Virat Purusha.
He understood. So probably he was given that vision, so he
Yeah,
could
he
know
was
how to
given that
place
vision.
the planets and how
Yes.
to physically do those things. So he was given that vision, but ultimately he got the higher understanding also, which was shared. Thank you so much, Mata.
Yes, Praladananda Prabhu, you want to add something?
Don't pranamata. Just like this last slok, Pibanti He Bhagavatatma. There is a beautiful slok in Garbhastuti. It says that Swayam Samuttirya Sudustaram Diman Bhavaranavam Bimal Adabra Suhrada Bhavat Padam Bojaruhu Navam E Nidayata Sad Anugraho Bhavan 10.2.31. There's all these great acharyas and they cross over this Bhavaranam, which is Dustaram. But they leave the same boat on this side for us to go. Cross over now. That was a very beautiful story. I heard from Kanai Krishnadas, very nicely explained. 10.2.31 is nice.
I'm trying to share that. Very nice. Yes, our acharyas are so magnanimous that when they cross the boat, when they cross this ocean and go to the other side, then they don't just be selfish and be there. They just send the boat to the other side so that we can take
2.31.
O Lord, who resembles the shining sun, you are always ready to fulfill the desire of your devotee, and therefore you are known as the desire tree, Vanchakalpataru. When our acharyas completely take shelter under your lotus feet in order to cross the fierce ocean of nuisance, they leave behind on earth the method by which they cross. And because you are very merciful to your other devotees, you accept this method to help them. Excellent. Thank you, Prabhu. I think so. These are the Garbhastuti, right?
Garbhastuti, yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Yes, Swadamani Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam. Thank you so much for the beautiful class, Mataji. Mataji, in this chapter, towards the beginning we saw text 7. Yeah, there are different stages of realization Prabhupada wrote in the purport. So Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. So my doubt is that Mataji, this contemplating on the Virat Roop, so does it fall in the category of the Paramatma stage of realization?
Contemplating on Virat Roop, actually it's totally material. But yes, when a person advances, then he goes to the level of Brahmajyoti.
Oh, so it does not fall in the 3 categories, Mataji, Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan?
Brahman, it falls under Brahman.
Brahman.
Because, yeah, after that, when a devotee advances, but if he keeps contemplating on Virat Purusha and he doesn't come to the understanding that Virat Purusha has an abode outside this material world, then his dharana ashraya is different. So he has to come to that level to understand. And then he goes, after contemplating, when he comes to that understanding about the highest energy, light, and then his dharana ashraya is Brahman, then he goes to the Brahman. If he just keep on meditating upon this material thing, that how the mouth represents, eyes represents, the garment represents, then land nowhere. But there, the devotee, when he advances from that stage, then he will come to that Brahman realization.
So Paramatma realization is higher. That means.
Paramatma realization is higher.
higher. And another thing, Mataji, in text 17, translation, no, in word to word, it is the material causal ocean is written. So I was thinking, causal ocean, there Mahavishnu lies, no, Mataji. So again, in the purport, Prabhupada wrote that the causal ocean for material nature. So how can I understand this, Mataji? Causal ocean, is it material?
It's 17, right?
Yeah, yes, Mataji.
See, causal ocean is not material. Yesterday in Chaitanya Charitamrita session also we were reading that what is this causal ocean? So Das Kaviraj Goswami in chapter number 5, when he was glorifying the glories of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, at that time when he was establishing the situation of Lord Balaram, that who Lord Balaram is, and his Amsha, he talks about his, that is the Karanadakshay Vishnu, which lies on the causal ocean. So there, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes that causal ocean is made up of all these ingredients, earth, water, air, fire, ether, but they are not material. They are used in the service of creating material creation, but they themselves are spiritual. So causal ocean, the waters of the causal ocean, the Karana ocean, they are actually spiritual. The ingredients of that causal ocean are spiritual. But later, when Mahavishnu glances, then it agitates the Pradhan and how the Prakriti gets manifested. Then all these ingredients are used for making this material creation. That's how we have to understand. Pradhan, the material causal ocean. So Vikara. So, na vai vikaro na mahan pradhanam. In that transcendental state of labdho pashanti, there is no supremacy of devastating time. What controls even the celestial demigods who are empowered to rule over mundane creatures. And what to speak of the demigods themselves. Nor is there a mode of material goodness, nor passion, nor ignorance, nor even the false ego, nor the material causal ocean, nor the material nature. So at that stage, there is nothing material because everything is spiritual. But don't think the waters of causal ocean is material. No, the cause that is there to create this material, the ingredients, the sarga that is needed, that is material.
So used for material purpose, and that's why it is written material.
Yes, used for the material.
But they themselves are not material.
No.
Okay, okay, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you. Good.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Sunil Prabhu, yeah, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Mataji, regarding the, you have said it's not exaggeration, lofty, and the answer which you gave previously, like when the statements are made, it means we have walked on that path of liberation and one day we'll get it. So it doesn't, Acharyas mention when that one day will be. Because for anything I hear, for example, you don't have taste for chanting, you keep chanting, one day you get it. It's like all the same answer, one day you will get it, but no one tells when that one day would be. So any of our Acharyas mentioned that.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, Mataji, you.
Just that what is that bhajan by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur? Oh my God, I'm just slipping out from my mind. Here. Yeah, now I got it. Kabe habe bolo sedina mar, aparada ruchi, shuddha nama ruchi, kripa bale hoibe hridaya sanchar. So Sri Bhakti Vinod Thakur himself is saying, when that day will be mine, when you will give me your blessings, erase all my offenses and give me the heart or the taste of ruchi for chanting the holy name. When will I taste the sense of the holy name? When my heart will be filled with tolerance? When will I give respect to others? When my heart will cry? When I will borrow? When Nityananda Prabhu will be merciful? Kabe habe bolo e dinamar. What is that? Kabe habe bolo se dinamar. So this is our even acharyas like Bhakti Vinod Thakur, who is a Kamal Manjari. He is also saying and praying when that day will be mine. So yes, our acharyas have explained that you have to walk on that path, and that one day, and which that one day is, that one day depends upon Krishna. We cannot claim that, oh Krishna, for decades I have been chanting, I have been studying Srimad Bhagavatam, I have scrutinizingly, not 3 times, but 10 times studied. But now I claim that I should be given your bhakti or your prem. No, that totally depends upon Krishna when he wants to bestow and when he doesn't want to give. So we can only pray. May that one day come soon when we get Shuddha Naam on our tongue, when we really get Krishna praying. So personalities like Bhakti Vinod Thakur are praying, then who are we? You got the answer, Sunil Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji, Krishna is the autocrat. He can do what he wants.
Yes, we cannot order. It only and only depends upon Krishna's mercy. We cannot claim that I am the real recipient of Krishna's mercy. No, we cannot. It's up to Krishna. But that day will come. Definitely that day will come. Maybe after millions of years, but yes, the day will come. Yes,
Yes.
Tulsi Gopi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. And you have mentioned about
Thank
it, Mataji. So what should be the introspection? Like you said, if you are
Keep
not
on doing it. Just keep on doing it. Follow the acharyas, follow the parampara, follow the footsteps that they have walked on. That's the only instruction. Don't let your mind get caught into all this. We don't want liberation. We don't want to go home back to Godhead. Oh Krishna, I don't want. I'm okay with ahituki bhakti. Just give me your ahituki bhakti. Just give me the association of your devotees. I'm happy with it. I don't want nana prishtam, nacha parmeshtam, Shvetrasur prayers, right? I don't want anything. I don't want even apavarga. I don't want even liberation. What do you want, Vritrasura? I only want that I need your association of your pure devotees so that I'm always engaged in hearing your katha and singing your glories. That's it. Yes, Sunil.
Thank you so much.
May I add little Mad?
Please go ahead.
Bhagavan Krishna says very clearly at the end of Bhagavad Gita, Machitta Sarva Durgani, Mat Prasadat Charisyasi. Our duty is to keep our mind in Him all the time, and He will do the needful.
What
This
if
is what
Krishna, very nice. Thank you, Prabhu, that we have to do the needful and rest is all Krishna. What if Krishna doesn't want us to come back to the spiritual world? He wants us to stay here. Okay? No problem. If Krishna is happy, we being here and keep glorifying Krishna, keep glorifying and singing his katha and hearing about him. Okay. If Krishna wants us to in some other universe, okay. So there is a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam which say, yes, boss. You just have to say, yes, boss. Whatever you say is right. And we will follow.
Also, King Kulswekar says, Mukunda Murna Pranipratyayache Bhavantam Ekadam Viyantam Artham. Avismruti Tacharnarvinde Bhave Bhave Me Astu Bhavat Prasada. Bhave Bhave. I don't want liberation to. I said Prabhupada also. Prabhuji was mentioning that Prabhupada says in one conversation, I didn't want to come, but Bhavan Krishna says, you have to go. So that's how he came. Very well. Such a divya
Very
thing.
nice. Thank you. Yes, Prabhupada was not ready to come, but desire of the Supreme Lord. So such rare souls, such pure souls, when they walk, when they traverse on this planet Earth, it is for some higher purpose, to fulfill the duty, to fulfill the desire of Lord Shri Krishna. So yes, if we are used in Krishna's instrument, nothing like that. Nothing like that.
Kirat Hunandar Pulinda Pulkasa Abhir Samba Yamuna Khasa. Prabhupada purified most fallen, including myself. So such a great personality.
Thank you. Came for the purpose to purify all of us. We are the live examples. We have been touched by the words of Srila Prabhupada. If we introspect our life, what we were, and now what we are, you'll see a huge transformation, a huge difference. How we perceive the sufferings now and how we used to perceive the sufferings when we were not in Krishna consciousness. So the day has come, the day is approaching, but we cannot claim that now is the time, now I'll be the true recipient. It's up to Krishna, whatever he wants. That is what is surrenderance. You take care. You know what is good for me. I will see only the short picture. You are the one who will see the bigger picture and decide good for me. That is what is surrenderance is. Not demanding, not claiming, not saying these things. Yes, Tulsi Gopi Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Mataji, with respect to that chapter where the lotus feet of the Lord represents the lower planetary system, something like that, right? In earlier chapter verses, at that time I had this question. I forgot to ask it. Later in this second canto, I don't know if it's chapter 3 or where it's mentioned that the lotus feet of the Lord, the special quality is that it destroys all fears. So therefore, you meditate. So those who meditate on Virat Rupa, if they look at the lotus feet, it looks hellish planet. So how can it destroy their fear? Because is it like with the deity of Krishna, the personality of Godhead, the deity, the lotus feet, when you meditate, it drives away all the fears. But in the Virat Rupa, it represents the scary part. So
they are not meditating as such. They are just equating the lotus feet to the patal, to the heavenly planets. The waist or the abdomen as the earthly planet. So they are simply equating. They are not exactly meditating or aspiring to reach the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. That's not their mood. Their mood is to equate something with the Supreme Lord, something material with the Supreme Lord. And that's what they are doing it.
Understood. So the neophytes, when they meditate on Virat Rup, they will not look at it the way we look at the lotus feet.
No, they won't. Okay. They won't. They are simply equating because it's just like they need something to meditate upon. Okay. For them, everything is vague, void. So they don't want to do anything voidism, and therefore they need something to meditate upon. But why do you need? You have the deity because they are not attracted to the personal feature of the Supreme Lord. So therefore they try to meditate on the Virat Purusha. But Krishna, see the magnanimity of Krishna. Even to them, Krishna is appearing as Virat Rup. So that somehow or other they get into the association of devotees and they progress from that path.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much.
Okay, so thank you all so much. We will stop here. Which verse, Mataji, when you say yes, boss, we will follow? I have to search. Yes. Verse in Bhagavatam.
What, Mataji? Did
Fine.
you ask me something?
No, Sunil Prabhu has asked something. If I come across Prabhu, I will let you know. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, dear devotees, we'll stop here. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah anant koti vaishnav vrindi ki jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai all the assembled Vaishnavas ki jai Hare Krishna. Ending the call, dear devotees. See you all on Thursday. Vaibhav.